Ladies and gentlemen, it's Diamond and Silk. Here in New York City, and look who's here. The fan favorites, Diamond and Silk. We were talking about the Trump rally last night. How many have you been to?
Oh, several. But last night was so amazing.
Phenomenal.
Our president did a phenomenal job with his message, bringing it across to the American people.
And I love how he called out all of the crooks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's a report now in the Daily Beast saying that Elizabeth Warren has been in contact with Andrew Gillum. He is the guy from Tallahassee, Florida, that ran against DeSantis for the governor position, and he lost to DeSantis. But what do you think about this? That could be her vice president, should she get the nomination.
Pandering, again.
Yes.
Elizabeth Warren, who is a fake, a fraud, and a phony. She is.
Yeah.
Gilliam need to be very careful because he's about to be used. What happened in the Obama era when all of these black people rushed to the polls, you will never see that happening with an Elizabeth Warren and a Gilliam.
That's right.
Black people, because black people look at Elizabeth Warren as another Rachel Dolezal. She's a fake.
Yes.
She's a liar.
She don't know who she is.
That's right.
She claims to be a Native American. She claims to be a minority, and she do not know who she is.
She don't know the
shoes
that minorities walk in, and so it's offensive.
That's right.
She will never. Black people not going to vote for her like that.
According to this particular story, they're talking about the fact that he's from Florida, and to win the presidency, you need the state of Florida. So maybe putting somebody on the ticket from Florida is a good idea.
I don't care where he's from. She not going to win the election with him.
Well, that's a 52 fake
He's under an ethics violation. I mean, they're still investigating him for that. Meanwhile, there's no doubt about it. On Sunday, most people were focused on what was happening at the Dallas Cowboy game, which they lost to the Packers. But other people were looking up into the suites, and they saw Ellen DeGeneres and George W. Bush together. And that upset a lot of people in the LGBT community. They thought it's a sellout. I'm not sure what that was about. They said she came out and said, I'm friends with them. Just because we disagree on certain things doesn't mean we can't be friends. Listen.
Just because I don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friends with them. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people that think the same way that you do. I mean be kind to everyone.
But there has been some backlash because some people just simply do not like George W. Bush and are infuriated he sat down next to her.
But you know what? Kudos to Ellen. I appreciate what she did.
Kudos to her.
But now Ellen get to see the people that she represent, the party that she represent, what they do. It's like the mob. They bash you when you don't go along with their agenda.
Look what happened outside Minnesota's arena last night.
Exactly. But you know what? I don't want to focus on the protesters. There was more people inside that arena. Almost 20,000 people. And outside the arena than the protesters. So why are we focusing on the protesters?
They're just intolerant. That was my point. Mark Ruffalo had put
this is what he said, the actor. So first, Reese Witherspoon put out a tweet saying she supports Ellen, and then she had to take it down because she had so many people that said negative things. But Mark Ruffalo, he's been very outspoken about the president. He said, sorry until George W. Bush is brought to justice for the crimes of the Iraq War, including American-led torture, Iraqi deaths and displacement, and the deep scars, emotional and otherwise, inflicted on our military that served his folly. We can't even begin to talk about kindness.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's really sick
because if we want to look at the atrocities that happen in America, let's look at the Democrat Party.
That's right.
The party of KKK, the party of Jim Crow. Let's look at that particular party. The party that they represent. Let's look at that if you want to talk about that. Listen, it's time for us to stop with the bickering and start loving each other, even when we are different.
That's right. Yes, that's something that's missing. We don't know how to agree to disagree when we're having a disagreement. We don't know how to respect each other anymore. And the sad thing is that the left blames the right, but I see the left out there, like you say, protesting in the streets and acting a fool.
America, pardon me, has become so polarized. That's why a lot of people are afraid to speak out, but you certainly aren't. Ladies and gentlemen, Diamond and Silk.